Yes, once upon a time, when this humble, flexible, and extremely fluid messenger was just a little kid, God, seems like ancient history now, being raised in a suburb of Murderapolis. There were a lot of kids in our neighborhood, boys and girls. We played well together, 99% of the time outside, all seasons. We didn't have Xboxes, we didn't have PlayStations, we didn't have all the cool stuff you guys had as kids. A lot of people had as kids. My kids had as kids. Including, we played outside during brutal winters. It seems all of us kids shared one thing in common. Bet you can't even come close to guessing what that was. Well, I'm going to tell you. So stay with me, people, because I'm just getting started with this update on Sunday, the 30th of January, 2022, or so they'd have us believe. Alright, first a quick rant, and yeah, it's about the winter of 2021-22. I'm still at the Charlie Foxtrot. How long? Only BNSF knows, and 17,000 of their 41,000 employees are threatening to strike Warren Buffoon's company. Yeah, Warren Buffett's company, Berkshire Hathaway, owns the mighty BNSF Railroad. Could be serious for their Charlie Foxtrot because they are not only totally dependent upon the truckers hauling. Keep that word truckers in mind here, people. We'll get to that. Hauling farm-produced commodities to their worksite. Their Charlie Foxtrot is utterly dependent upon BNSF delivering train service to their facility. And one hasn't come since early December. So, what have they, them, been doing for the last 2 weeks? Well, weather permitting, we're loading empty intermodal 40-foot containers that are sitting outside on site, and the supply is running low. Can you say job security? We, they, them can't. Now, patience, people. Everything I've said will all tie in with the purpose of this audio. No, I'm not getting off track. Anyway, I've increased my hours at Charlie Foxtrot to 4.5 days in a row. You gotta combine when the crops are ready, don't you know? Because I really don't see a future here. Nothing is getting better. It is getting worse. And if you learn anything from me, people, master this. It ain't never, ever, never going back to what you think is normal. Get over that and move on. Because these truly are exciting times we find ourselves in. So anyway, my daily weekday concern is how do I get from where I live to where U.S. Highway 2 is? Because it usually is the best maintained 4-lane taking me into Minot, North Dakota. Of the 64 miles I have to travel to get to the Charlie Foxtrot, 25 miles is on county 2-lane, poorly plowed and maintained pavement. For most of the last 2 weeks, it has been a bitch. Can you say bitch? Yes, I can. Now, I've seen and pulled out a number of vehicles in the ditch. Don't believe me? Ask the runt. But the other day was a first. A vehicle was stuck in the middle of the road. A 4-wheel drive, by the way, vehicle was stuck in the middle of the road. And that was about 3 miles from U.S. Highway 2. This is one time, being a lazy ass, paid big dividends. For if I didn't have a half a load of firewood in my pickup box, which should have been unloaded the day before, I wouldn't have been able to blast through the drifts. You should have been there, people. This would have made great Hollywood B-roll film for an action-packed adventure movie. And another thing, your freedom-loving watchman on the wall usually travels at 114.4 feet per second. Slowing down to 50 feet per second because of shitty roads is unacceptable. Besides, I've never figured it out, but I don't think you can get to the Charlie Foxtrot at that speed, ever. Now, I know some of you are beginning to think, come on, Dave, enough of the fluff and the bullshit. Get to the point. Not quite yet. Now, what was particularly devastating traveling this past week was finally making it to Highway 2. Boy, that's a nice feeling. And what do I see as I'm leaving town or getting onto the highway? You ain't gonna believe it. The goddamn state highway snowplow. Yep, the one that's supposed to be going my way, paving or blazing and plowing the road ahead. buried in the ditch. People, that is a very discouraging sight if you think about it. Believe me. Okay, now what did all the kids in the neighborhood have in common? Apparently, we were too stupid to come inside when the temps were way below zero. Never heard of the mathematically calculated wind chill till I was much older. Now comes the meat of today's message. When I was a kid, we knew January and February were going to be a weather bitch. And here's how it often went down. You'd have a few days at 30 below. Then it would warm up to 25 below. More warming to 19 below. And finally, after 20 to 30 days, the heat wave hit. It warmed up to 7 above. It was glorious, people. I'm telling you. The parents would still call us stupid because we were going to die from frostbite because we were too dumb to come in from the cold. But we didn't care. It was above zero. And let the party begin. Now what do we have today? 36 below, and in less than 12 hours, 28 above for a couple of days. And then 30 below, followed by 30 above. Get it? Something wrong with this picture, people. And I'm going to tell you. I am going to tell you what it is that's wrong. Geoengineering. Someone has their hand on a big effing knob somewhere that they can turn it left and right at their desire, and they're controlling the weather. Yes, sir, stratospheric aerosol injections that you can see the evidence when you look up. That is, if you quit looking down at your smartphone. Smartphones make people stupid. And before you throw the bullshit blade, are you aware that a number of high-powered scientific think tanks, including Boston's Massachusetts Institute of Technology, MIT, are rethinking the wisdom of dimming the sun by chemical aerial spraying? That this might not be such a good idea messing with Mother Nature. May not be a productive thing. It might have consequences. But you don't know this because the source of your news isn't telling you this. Now, why would the scientific community have doubts about chemical spraying when you believe it isn't even happening in the first place? See? Right again I am. Okay, now what else is being blacked out by the people who decide what you should and shouldn't know? As Murray would say, trust me, I'll tell you what you need to know when you're dealing with me. When I get to Towner, North Dakota, and I intersect with US Highway 2 to mine it, the distance between the 2 points is right around 40 miles. Did you know Ottawa, Canada, that's the capital of Canada, people, you geographic masters of wisdom, where Fidel Castro's son, the Prime Minister of Canada, Justin Trudeau, resides? Did you know that they are under siege? Did you know they are under siege by over 50,000 semi-trucks and 1.5 million supporters protesting Corona restrictions? Did you know that, people? Did you further know that this convoy of pissed-off truckers stretches 40 miles? That's a line of trucks, people, from Towner, North Dakota to Minot, North Dakota. And this is not big news? I mean, WTF? Now tell me about your free and unbiased news media. And where, by the way, is the Prime Minister of Canada, Justin Trudeau, that the truckers demand a meeting with? Well, son of a bitch, you're not going to believe it. A day before the first trucks were to arrive, Trudeau tested positive and quarantined himself. Amazing. How coincidental is that? Reminds me of what a patriot lawyer friend of mine once said many years ago. The only groups that have the balls to stand up to government tyranny are truckers and prostitutes. That may not bode well for the rest of us, people, but in our defense, how could you offer support to an event the national media is clearly blacking out? Keep your seat belts buckled, people, because we're in for a long and strange ride. Take my word for this one. And by the way, I got stuff to do.